All right. What's up, everybody? This is Jim Kim, joined again by my good friend, Bobby F. Parihar. How are you, Bobby?
Doing really good, buddy. How about you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can hear you perfect. Yeah, so
Sweet.
we had a really awesome conversation last time we got together here, and just figured we'd keep it going. Last time we talked about the basics of numerology 1 through 9, and some people who might not be aware of this, point out that there are actually other numbers that we can talk about, the master numbers. So I want to let you get into that. And what are the master numbers, Bobby?
Okay, well, that's kind of a loaded question. And I remember when we were having our first of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity again, man. Honestly, super blessed. You have no idea. Like just being able to have this platform to be able to talk about something that's so passionate to me and so dear to my heart. I couldn't thank you enough, Jeremy. You are an absolute saint. So having said that, let's talk about mastery because it's 11:11 right now. And we're starting my call here at 11:11 on my most sacred time. And so 11:12, let's do this. Let's keep it going. And it's such a beautiful divine thing that we're going to be talking about. We were talking about mastery numbers, and you had to go technical difficulties. Your mic wouldn't work, and now suddenly you come back online, and it's exactly at the magic moments of time that I always seem to be posting at. People are always like, "What's this 11:11 thing?" And like, honestly, it's a loaded question. And what I've understood about the universe is that you don't have to understand how it works in order to be bound by it. You don't really need to know what gravity is in order for it to be a ruler in your existence. So the law of attraction, law of intention, law of vibration, the law of emotion, the law of understanding, and there's so many different laws that are in play in just this reality alone that we can't even comprehend. So when we even talk about numerology, leave it as it's a science. It's actually math. This is an algorithm. This is not something that is a voodoo. This isn't something that has any sort of like it is what you find in it. Okay, so some people will be like, "Hey, wait, this is not good because you don't believe in it." And it's you know what I'm saying? Like it's like an intuition thing. I am a very skeptical person, and where I love to believe that I'm very intuitive and I have a very spiritual backbone, I also am very skeptical about the thing people talk about, like, "Oh my God, there's an orb." It's like, no, it's the light. It's an actual light. Like it's the reflection of the lens that hits the glass. Like, let's not be romantic about it. If you want to talk about spirits, they're inside here. It's more of a science. It's more of a law of vibration than it is a law of spiritual psychic belief. This is a law of magnetism. It's physics. It's not something like even right now I'm a vibration. So when we talked last week about the numbers and the vibrations that they hold, now we're going to talk about what numbers did we leave out. So I mean, it's a completely loaded topic, but the mastery numbers are the same way that I would say if you have a small square and it's about this size, it's a square. And then you have a square that's this size. It's about this size, it's a square, right? And then you have a house and that's a square and it's a much bigger square. And then you have like a city and that's a much, much bigger square. So you have the same shape at different angles. Okay. So the same idea is going to happen in numbers. When you have a 1 to 9, it's a very small circle. Then you have the numbers that repeat themselves, and now suddenly, hey, you know what? It's the same thing, but on a higher level. It's the same thing, but at a deeper level. So it's got a mastery to it. There's an extra component there. It doesn't just hold the vibration of the 2. It also holds the vibration of the 11. It doesn't hold just the vibration of the 4. It also holds the vibration of the 22. It doesn't hold the vibration of the 6. It also holds the vibration of the 33. So I'm like this type of idea is going to happen everywhere in life that you see. It's called the Fibonacci, is how I understand this. Is that the sequence repeats itself? It's an algorithm, a very old and ancient law of nature that you can see in a sunflower. You can see it in the like a bee in the honeycomb of life. That it just repeats itself like an infinite ever fractal. So the same thing is happening with numbers, and you can add. There are only 9. There's only 9. I mean, after that, there's a marker for 0, just so you can continue to go on. But after that, like you're only combining. You're only actually taking them and putting them in different arrangements. And after that, you can go level to level to level. So the really beautiful thing about mastery is that it allows us. I'm going to put a little bit of disclaimer here because I have a spiritual. I have a spiritual intuition about my thinking that I'm very confident in, that maybe I don't want to say that it's the way, because I want to respect the fact that I'm a student and I could be wrong, and I'm always just going to be a learner. I'm always going to be a student. But I believe that these numbers have something to say about who you are as a soul. I believe they have something to say about God's plan for you. I believe they have something to say about your fate and about your destiny and about what you're about to go through in life. Not everybody who is a 2 has the 11. Not everybody who's a 3 or a 6 has the 33. Not everybody who's a 4 has the 22. But these numbers, when they appear in sequence, by the way that you calculate them through the algorithm, the way you count them up, they can express a much higher destiny for you. And it can be scary, because this is kind of a reading for you, Jimmy, because you carry the 11. And this is very dear to my heart, because I carried the 11 as well. So when we go side by side right now, we are literally 11-11 and starting at 11-11. It's very romantic. I would have to say it's just a beautiful moment that you and I get to share, because the 11 is not an easy road. There's when I met my numerologist and I told her, hey, what about it? She's like, don't talk about that. That door's closed. Like, you don't want to go down that road. This is a lot of work. And I'm like, okay, well, let's work. Like, let's get to work. Let's get to It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Like, you're talking about dealing with emotional patterns inside the way that you process information, the way you deal with other people, the way you choose to live in your life. You're dealing with the daddy issues, the mommy issues, the things that happened to you when you were a kid, the time that you weren't, acknowledged, and like the time you failed and it ever stayed with you, and like the times we were hurt and the brain was like, and it just quickly jammed and broke, and like it was never the same after. And it's just these jarring experiences that we go through as human beings are what craft our soul. They're what help us elevate to the next level. So, I mean, in the reality of everything, like, I have to say that I'm blessed for what I have, but it's been a hard life. I've had heartbreak. I've had addiction. I've had turmoil. I've had like financial ruin. I've had friends I've had people I've lost and they're still alive. And I've lost people and I've lost people I've loved. So there's a lot of things we all go through, and our story is our own. But as a 2, you're going to find that everything to do with the 2 is all about connection. It's all about partners. And it's all about relationships between two things. Like, it's the yin and the yang. It's the dual concept. It's the contrast. Like, there has to be one for the other. It's a matching and a pairing. So when we're talking about an 11, we're talking about scrubbing that 2 to a spiritual context. We're literally like working that 2 so much that it's enough to raise itself to the next level.
Wow.
And in the terms of numerology and in the terms of what all these numbers mean, we're talking about, like, if 2 on the earth is about you and me, 2 in the spirit energy realm is about like one loving God angel to another. We're talking about the connection of God beings. Like, one is the God, is the one. It's like the sun, like it's like the one true God, like that whole alpha omega thing. That's the 2. This is where we get the difference between it. So the Bible teaches this kind of thing to people, and when the information is too technical, it suddenly loses its translation, and then it's like, hey, wait, this is sacrilegious. And it's like, no, this is actually what is written. This is what he was talking about when. And then the 3 comes along when, like, now said to the earth, like, you know what I mean? Like, all of this stuff, like, it's so romantic the way that it works, but it's straining on the soul. So when you're dealing with mastery numbers, it's not necessarily something that's going to be super cool. It just means that now you have, if the 2 had a good side and a bad side to it, now the 11 has a good side and a bad side to it. So instead of you having to deal with 2 destinies, now you have to deal with 4 destinies. And then we're not even covering names, okay? We're not even covering your names. We're going to go into a completely different day, because it's a whole other can of worms. But the thing is that that equation is now being plugged into much different spots. And let's say, let's just touch on it for a second. Let's say you're the type of person who, loves to do business, okay? And you've got all these really, like, high numbers for helping other people. Imagine you love to help other people, okay? And you love doing business. You want to do like some big humanitarian work. And then in your life path, you've got this 11 and you got a 2. So the number there is going to be suited to be able to work at the top level. the 11 needs it to be doing much greater work. A 2 is going to be happy just being a friend. It's going to be happy just being a partner. It's going to be happy just being on a webcam. But the 11 is going to be like, no, man, how are you really feeling? Like, literally, what's going on with your truth, with your who you are? Like, dive right in. Like, this is a safe space. Like, it's not just the, hey, what's on TV? Glad you're here. Let's play some video games. It's like, what do you really think about life? Like, what do you think really happens when you go? Like, these thought soul provoking questions happen at a higher level, but they also entertain a much bigger chance for you to deal with pain. Like, you're going to go through much bigger loss. You're going to have to understand that as a 2 anyway. I mean, quickly fast forward to the 4. The 22, the master builder, if the 4 was somebody who needed to have a little brick and hammer and make sure every nail was perfectly, like, and like on clockwork, like super solid, super stable, clock in, clock out, like the perfect employee. Imagine the 22 is the master architect now. This is the one who's like, vision, I must create something that is solid, stable, sturdy, and it works, that's going to last longer than me. And if I'm just hammering, I'm wasting my time. I need hammers of hammers of hammers of hammers. Everybody's hammer. Like, it's like like you're controlling this whole thing instead of just being the one guy who's working in and at it. Okay. The same thing is with like the 6. These are where the Master Life 33 comes in. And this guy is going to be like, it's a little tough because the 6, it already is the most balanced of them all, and it already brings the love and the joy, the communication, the family, the spirit, the emotion of wanting to, I guess, like create wealth and love. Like, it's a very balanced family feel. It's very balanced. And then the 33 comes in, and it's like super romantic, super loyal, super creative, much like it just it ends up creating a dynasty of families, a legacy, a kingdom of families, like a royalty. It's not just a successful family anymore. It's not just a mom and pop shop. It's like, whoa, you ever been to Mr. Walmart's? He's a good old man. Like, it turns into Walmart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it goes into a completely different. So we can see the same principles as they go into much bigger. And look what happened to Walmart. They got their own deals, their own issues to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's not easy. And so when you have these types of, and that's a bad example because they don't actually hold the same vibration. I don't know what Walmart does. I'm just using it as an example between, somebody who wants to lead and then, at a much grander scale. So, I mean, maybe one day McDonald was an old man, and now he was a farmer one day, and now he's sold out, and they put him into a clown suit, and he's just feeding kids diabetes. I mean, we don't know, right?
Right.
That could just be the anti level of on the other side of mastery, where it goes into the complete underside. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a complete dark side to the whole thing, and they hold masteries as well. So, I mean, like, if we're like angels, if we're the 11s, we're here trying to connect with each other and make that solid connection. I would imagine it's because everybody's being plagued. Everybody's dealing with lack of mastery, lack of alignment, lack of vibration. And they're being pulled down because what happens in human life, right? You end up getting scrubbed. Your soul gets like chipped on, it gets cracked and broken, and you end up going through these things that are one day you're eventually going to master. So if you have mastery numbers in your life, it's a strong chance that you're a little bit older than you think you are. Strong chance that you probably see things from a different level, and you're probably a little bit more disconnected than other people on a regular basis. Even those who you seek comfort from, you're probably just a little bit got an extra little layer, a sense of responsibility, a sense of disconnection, just because of the fact that it's almost like, here's a picture of a hamburger. I know it makes me feel really good, but I really like an actual hamburger. It's like, I'll enjoy the picture. It's nice. Or, you know what I mean? Like a half version of something. Like, it's not exactly what I wanted, but it's nice. You know what I mean? Instead of Nike, you get Nicey. It's like, it's not quite the same, but it's almost like, so the same thing happens with people that are not on your level. It's like, you know what? I can do this, but when you see that one that really is, and that does speak your language, you're like, I'm not alone.
Right.
That's right. We're out here. We do this. And so it feels really good when you're able to, like, for me, it did, because I love to create a space for people, but the more space I create for others, it's the more I'm thirsty for someone to be able to create a space for me. And the fact that you're doing this for me, giving me half an hour to just, spill out about what I've known and what I've learned about it, how it makes me feel, is just a beautiful blessing. So I can't thank you enough for that. The mastery road, it's a very, very difficult one. So if you think that you have some mastery numbers, if you feel like you do, go ahead and reach out. I'd love to be able to read your numbers for you. Let's go ahead and see if you do. There could be in your name. They could be in your life path. They could be in the month. I mean, there are different places for you to be able to experience that. If you just see them in sequences, like let's say, like, you see all ones, or you see all twos, or you see all threes, like we're going to talk about, this is like a road sign. This is like a road map. Like, you're in journey in your soul, and you see all these repeated numbers all the time. I always see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, why do I always see 2 twos and 2 fours? Like, they're like these little, like if you were the professional soccer players of the soccer world of life and the cup of life, and like you're on the field, the audience, this your soul family. There's a system, just people paid, like thousands, millions of them are all watching you, trying to cheer you on, and they put these signs up like "Go, go!" But it's more like a maze, because as they're cheering you on, they're going to put it up at different places. So if you're the type of person who really needs to connect, if you're the type of person who really needs to be able to open up, or you're having this emergency situation where maybe there's something going on with you, and you need the support of others, or you need to do that for work, or there's some sort of like a paradigm of the two, you'll probably see all the twos repeating. Or if you see like all threes, it's probably like, be creative, have more fun. Like, this could be a place for you to have romance, or for you, like, the numbers are going to have that vibration that keep going on. So, I mean, for people who see 1111 all the time, what does it really mean? Like, what did it mean for me? A lot of people talk about it like, oh, you make a wish, and no, it's a gateway you got to go through. It's telling you that you got to learn something. And then it's like, no, like, you know what? You got to know that your angels are with you. And like, I'm just like, okay, you know what? It looks cool. Like, first of all, it looks cool. And second of all, like, I'm kind of OCD about patterns. It's like, I kind of like it when things match. I kind of like it when things have like a perpendicular to them. So when I see numbers that are aligned, I'm like, hey, this is kind of cool. Like, this looks kind of weird. This is really neat. Like 2017, if you add that up, 2 + 1 + 7 = 1. Like 9 + 1 = 10, and 1 + 0 = 1. So, you add up the year, and it's a year 1. And then we had a month 1 was January, and then it was January 1st. So it was 1, 1, 1. And then can you imagine what it was like at 111, when the clock looked like if you looked at a clock and it said 111, 1, 1, 2017, which means 1. Like that, I don't know if that strikes you as like a beautiful moment in time, where like everything just sort of went, and then for that split second, like everything aligned in such a way that it was just like everything went, and then like you just, like, it's like an instant portal that for that 1 minute, everything just like it clicked. And at that point, what are you doing? What's going on in your life? Like, what are you aware of? Were you aware that the number was there? Were you aware enough to look at your spirit guide and see, hey, there's an 1111 here. What am I doing? It's going to be a lot in regards to where you're at right now in that exact moment. What are you doing when you're seeing all those 4s? What are you doing when you're seeing all those 3s? What are you doing when you're seeing that cool number that's on your odometer? Like, I see it all the time. All the numbers are always plaguing me. And it's not even a plaguing. It's a beautiful recognition that I'm in a prismatic universe. I'm in a universe that literally binds itself in such a beautiful way that the numbers really speak to me, and it makes me laugh. And I feel like I may have lost my mind, because it's like, what does that even mean? And then I learned what the numbers vibration hold, and how absolutely powerful it is for someone's life and their heart. It's a monumental experience to be able to see the hand of God. You're literally like watching the universe being painted in front of your eyes. And next thing you know, you see these perpendicular moments of God's true alignment, and you're just like, wow, where are we? Like, what is this? Who put this number here? Like, does anybody not think this looks really cool? So when I see that, I'm brought to a place of love, and a place of beauty for my environment, and for my God, and for my existence. I'm a very spiritual person. I have a very personal relationship with God, a very beautiful relationship with my creation. So when I see things like this, it puts me so in tune with the love that I should be giving to others. And I don't know how to express that. I don't know how to say that, I love you to the world in a way that doesn't sound weird or doesn't make me look strange, because we all want to help in our own little tiny way. So in this own little tiny way, I make this little cryptic symbolism. It's a small little post at a certain little time that shows you the indication that there's a mastery happening, that there's something happening inside of us that we can't quite explain. So if you notice that, if that's something that happens to you, chances are you've got some of your higher team. Your little square is a big field up there somewhere with a lot of people going on. That's your control room. They're your conscience, your ego, your best, highest self, your lost grandfathers, your lost grandmothers, your lost pets. They're all the people who love you that are all going to come back and be in your life and be in your soul family and your spirit guides and your soul tribe. Like, that's my belief system, is that we're all energy and this is all a science. And we just hold this physical meat for enough time with enough electricity until we can no longer exhaust up or and go back down, and we do it all again, all over again. And it's just karma's in repetition. They even have reality TV shows in India where they find the past life parents of the little kids and they introduce them to their families, and the little kids are like, "You were my baby, you were my baby." And they were like listing off the families, and they're all in tears, being like, "I can't believe we've been reunited." Sorry, got interrupted there. It's okay. We're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, you know what? It's been a really long journey to be able to learn what these numbers really mean and what they hold. So if they appear to you and you're curious, find out, reach out, Google it, just see what other people are saying. If you'd love my opinion, I'd love to give it to you. But I've already told you what the 1s to the 9s are. So let's take this to the next level, because I'm not going to spell this out for you guys anymore. This is going to be, you're only going to get the spelling of the current word. You're going to have to remember the lesson from last time and build onto it. So the new lesson here is that those same definitions are going to apply at a much larger scale. So if you're interested, go ahead and ask yourself, what happens when a 1 goes into as a double? Like, what would be maybe I'll be the leader in a conversation. Maybe I'll be the leader in the car. Maybe I'll be a leader at a store. Maybe I'll be a leader of a province. Maybe I'll be the leader of a country. So as you see these maybe I'll be a leader of my soul. Maybe I'll be a leader of a championship of entrepreneurs. So as you can see, how do you get bigger? How do you take that one number and put it to the next level? If I'm a partner, maybe I'm going to be the best partner. Maybe I'm going to be like a good business partner. Or maybe I'm going to be like a spiritual counselor or a spiritual coach. Or maybe I'll be a teacher. Or maybe I'm going to be like a priest. Or I don't know what the connection. Or maybe I'm going to become a parent. Like, I'm going to actually become another person. Like, can you imagine the level of partnership that would create if you literally became another person? Like, it's mind-boggling. So, and then the 3. If the 3's got to be really romantic, loving, and loyal, and creative, and always got to do new things, just use your imagination. What about the 5? What about the one who's always getting into fights? Do we want to, or the one who fights for those they believe in? Like, do you want to? What does that sound like if you turn that up 5 levels?
Yeah.
Oh, Superman, man, Spider-Man, bro. What happens if you turn that evil 5 levels deep? Like, that's destruction, super villainy.
Yeah.
Like, maybe like they have a fight with themselves, that they kill themselves, suicide. What about if they don't just care about their own ability to stand up for themselves? But what if they say, no, you're not going to talk about my mom that way. You're not going to talk about my grandmother that way. You're not going to talk about my kids that way. You're not going to do that. You're going to take that fight and go into the next level. So, I mean, we all have a way of taking these numbers to go much bigger, but you can't get a mastery out of an odd number, can you? What is 5 supposed to be? Like 2.5 and 2.5? Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't. But 3 and 3 make 6. 4 and 4 make 8. 5 and 5 make 1. Right? So, like, these types of mechanics keep like getting bigger and bigger, way past her understanding. And I understand what my numerologist said now, and she was like, "No, don't open. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a big journey." So, but I have advice for you if you're running them. If you go to a numerology site and you test your life path, and it gives you a master number, and you're a master number, you got a big road. You got a big choice. You can. This is really vital. This is I think the reason why we're doing this is this little bit here. So you don't want to pay attention to this part. I'm glad I can get to this without rambling too much. If you have these numbers, you are being called. You are at the ability to not respond to that call. You have the option to press snooze and live at the lower number. That will have dramatic effects on how you consider your life at the last stages of it. When you're looking back, a lot of that's going to become regret. So you're going to have to learn how to deal with that. And maybe your name is karma. You could be a monster just chained down by a small name and trapped under a small number. And you could just be this like monster that's just like holding the world up and sitting there for like lifetimes, waiting to learn how to push that weight up and become the giant that you truly are. So if you have that number, chances are you feel the weight. Chances are you feel the weight. Chances are you want to go to sleep. Chances are you operate at the lower level quite a bit and you think you're at the higher level quite a bit more. And I'm so subject to that. So I commit myself to being a student, commit myself to being humble. I'm going to keep learning and keep asking God for guidance and being, a true spiritual tool, because I believe that these numbers are absolutely sacred and important. And I'm ready to answer that call. And it's a tough road because I just want to get married and have kids. That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I want. But no, I've got to earn it. I've got to go up to this higher level and be of service to so many other people and be a salesman and help people get what they want and help people get to where, and that's how I'm going to earn the type of love that I really want in my life. So, I mean, it's a beautiful blessing, definitely, but it's one of the most challenging things. Every number has its challenge, but this is like when you start the video game, for all you gamers out there, it's like right at the beginning where they ask you the difficulty level. It's like going to master. There's a reason why there's easy, beginner, intermediate, hard, expert, and then master. And after that becomes like extreme mode. Who knows what happens with that? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even think that level. But if the Fibonacci is true, it probably exists. So maybe we're going to get there one day. I know right now I'm just trying to pass this game on easy. Like I can't even, but the thrill is play hard, live hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. I mean, why would you come to Earth if you're not going to have all the 1,000 colors that come with it? Right? Maybe you need to grow, but I think I'm here to help people grow. I'm here to help people get to where they need to go. So it's a beautiful honor that you're putting me on here, because I think this helps to inspire people a lot. And I'm at your service. I'm completely at your service. Add me, follow me, message me, like me, share me, post me, whatever the heck you want to do. But if you have a question, do not feel at all like you can't reach out. If you do have questions, I'd love to bring you on the Zoom. You can come and record with us next week while I will interview you, whatever you want to do. But if you have any questions, Jimmy, I think that might be good. I'm not sure how much we've been at this, but my inner intuition is telling me it's actually pretty good. We're only like at 30 minutes or 25 minutes, but it's been solid. And I think the mastery numbers are kind of punchy. So we can dive into anything that I said if you want to expand on any of that, because I know that I kind of drilled a lot and I may have brushed over some stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to you.
Yeah, just a couple of quick points. I'm just curious to learn more about. Let's say you discover that you are a master number, but as you're looking back, by your own admittance, you have been playing it small and you haven't been stepping up to your mastery. Can you talk a little bit more about the consequences of the master number who maybe does realize that they have the potential to step into their greatness, but they choose not to? What do you think will happen then?
Well, I mean, like at the end of the life, you can definitely expect some regret. I believe that on the very extreme side of the negative number exists the possibility of that being the way that you end your life, or the way that your life ends on you, or the way that because if you're strong and you're stubborn, it's going to take you to the end. And then there's going to be some sort of an experience at the end. So if you neglect the call, maybe there's a few reasons for it. You could have karma, okay? Maybe you're dealing with some things. Maybe you got some stuff going on and you got a red card. you got, benched for a few lives. Like, who knows? Maybe you don't even believe in past life stuff. And if you do, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but let's just say for the sake of argument that you're an ever-existing experience and that there's an afterlife and there's a before life. So I mean, like, if you don't, maybe you could just be dealing with an equation that actually is cutting you down right now. This is how I can help people, because I'm telling you something. When you come to Earth in my belief system, oh man, you have the chance in real 3D to literally work through your karma at such a high rate. You have such a beautiful ability to deal with the things that you were sent here to deal with. You can't hug people when you're in energy form, but you can touch people in their lives and in their actual hearts when we're humans. So, the grudges you carry in life and the things you do to hurt people, these are the ways that the ego lashes out. So if let's focus the 11s and the 22s, or the 11s and the 2s for a second, okay? So they're all about partnership. We're all about connecting with other people. So can you imagine if you are not doing that, or you're not living up to it, you're going to be living the negative of that, which is you're not connecting with people. What does that make you feel like? Pretty depressed. That makes you feel pretty alone. That makes you feel like you're pretty by yourself and that there's nobody who's listening to you. So this lonely voice that you have inside yourself, it's like that is the death. That's the death. Is like, that's what happens. I mean, that's a painful experience. Let's talk about the 4 just for a second. The 4 is a very solid and stable person who needs to have a foundation of things that go on in their life to make sure things are working. Can you imagine what that looks like if they can't hold a job, or if they can't pay the bills, or if they don't care about anybody else, or they don't have time for love or life, or they can't even take care of their own health because all they do is work? And that's how they get their sense of ego. That's just, they're tied. They're just chained. They're like a very faithful cog in a wheel. That's disaster. That's suicide. That's a death. That's a spiritual death.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it can get pretty scary if you really realize the dramatic part of not recognizing your number. At the same time, you have an option. You have a choice. You have a nice, easy. Remember the Matrix when the guy was talking about the steak? I know the steak isn't real, but man, it's good. It's like there's something out there. You go to sleep at night and you look at the stars and you're just like, you can't help but cry. You can't help but look and see that you should be doing something more with your life. You're not. You're not living up to your numbers. You're not living up to the vibration people set for you. People are in awe that you're not doing that. This speaks so highly to me right now. You and I are the same number, man. This is literally the coaching I need to be hearing for myself. So what am I doing? I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone and having a casual little conversation with my bro. Let's go ahead and film this. It's so easy, and I feel like it's so simple that I should just be doing it. But why don't I? Because I'm not happy. I don't have the things that I want. I'm living that spiritual death. All I want to do is have kids and have a family. I'm growing old without it. Because why? I'm not doing the work. I'm not fulfilling my highest destiny. I'm not living up to my number. So that's my punishment, is that I have to live to the negative of the 2. I'm suffering the 2, and I'm suffering its negative, because all my numbers are in the high end of the positive and the 11. So if I'm not living up to that, if I'm not providing value to other people, I'm not living up to my potential. I'm wasting my gift. My mouth was falling apart. Literally, I'm missing teeth right now. I've gone to the dentist, best thousands of dollars I've ever spent in my life. And I'm going to the dentist week after week, and they're repairing my face, doing 5 years worth of dental work. And I'm getting my face in order. And since then, I've been able to do better things, speak more truth, not be able to have to say the ums and ahs. And it just feels really great. It feels pretty streamlined. And I have to thank you again for it. Because look what you're doing for me, man. You're literally putting me on stage here so I can speak to your audience about something that's happening in my life. And it's pretty amazing. So I'm super grateful. I'm super blessed, super humbled that I'm being able to say, hey, you know what? What you're asking me right now is something I'm dealing with. What happens if you neglect your higher numbers? Right. I'll take a look. Exhibit A. What about yourself? I'm not going to go into your situation, but you strive. You're striving. You desire. You want something so bad, something you don't have, and you're working for it. What does that tell you? You're living up to your numbers, man. But what does that also tell you? That you're not living up to your numbers. See what I'm saying when I'm talking about mastery?
Yep.
You don't have what you want. What are we calling ourselves masters for? You're in your living room. I'm sitting on my bed. We're just talking about dreams and big things that we really want in our lives. But the thing is that we are buying it. That's all you have to sell it to yourself. That's what sells. That's what people will buy from you. As a person who's a 2, salespeople. We're salespeople. What we're selling is what is caring. We're not selling. Blige just put that out there. Stop selling and start caring. Shout out to the BWK. That's what's up. Because you know what I mean? That's all we got is you're either taking it for yourself or you're giving it to others. And my dad just said that to me last night. You're a giver or you're a taker. And I'm like, why are you always giving? And why am I always taking? And it was a spiritual like gratitude I have when I'm, just trying to keep it calm with them by saying thank you for not kicking me out and, calling me a loser to too many people. And like, you know what I mean? Like just having my back, and I'm so grateful for that. Because I know that they see that I'm not living up to my numbers, and they're hoping that one day I do. Maybe they don't understand numbers and they don't get it, but they still see that I'm not living up to my potential. Like you don't need to know numbers to know what they mean. That's the most weirdest part about doing things, is that you are going to end up wanting to buy my time so that I can tell you things that you already know about yourself. And that's the most coolest thing, because the 11s just got a nice flip show tonight. You guys got a nice one. This one was for us.
Yeah.
What happens if you don't listen to your numbers? Dramatic effects, man.
Yep.
Honestly, you could be hiding under karma. You could be hiding under trauma. There could be a catalyst. You could be disguised. There could be a couple of different reasons why you're not living up to your numbers. You'd be sick and tired of being sick. Sometimes you get disassociated. The world is not ready for you. You're not in that vibration yet. It's too early. It's like the Groundhog Day effect. So we come up to this planet, and imagine the hippies and stuff. And like years and years ago, there was a movement of them who needed to be there at that time. But there was also an oppression of things that are happening that are not of the norm. So this new vibration comes out. This new oppression of the masses come out, or whatever it is that changes things. So maybe are we the sparks that happen? Are we the after effects of that? I believe that we're on our own schedule, and that we're going to exist. New paradigms exist. We're going to go through changes and all of this. You know what I mean? Like, we're here for a reason. I don't feel like I was on time. I feel like I'm slightly out of it a little bit, just because I feel like I'm not connected to it at a certain specific purpose so that I can be of help to others. And I really do. I want to be connected to younger people. I want to be able to provide for them. I want to be able to give them tools that my dad gave me, that my mentors gave me, to be able to inspire people. Like, I want to be able to teach and grow. I'm a teacher. I want to teach kids. I want to homeschool. I always wanted to be a preschool teacher. I thought this was the most critical grade. The most critical grade. Like, you need that. It's so vital. You need that, like 3, 4, 5. That's it. That's everything else is just robots. That's all robot talk. But hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
What else? Did you have another one there for me?
Oh man, I think that really kind of wraps everything up. That was was on my mind. What a lot of people are thinking about when it comes to the master numbers. So just really appreciate you just sharing all your knowledge, and just basically, like you said, just being kind of the mouthpiece for God, for the Creator, to just kind of share this useful information that people who before they tuned into this might not be aware. Well, now they're aware, and now they might have some realizations that they can put together, and with your help, they can really form a concrete plan to create the future that they're looking to create.
I appreciate you, bro, man. Those are really sweet words. I've always a God tool, like an instrument of divine, and I love to draw. I really love drawing. And maybe you can find a picture of mine that I drew, and just show people as soon as you can find it. It's in my Facebook. If you want to go quickly grab it and then do a screen share if you can. It's in my Facebook under my albums. It's into an album called My Art. And inside there's a group of like 50 superheroes that I drew, just all faces. It's like a long photo. And while you're pulling it up, I'll just let you know, I guess, in this case, and we'll kind of end it there. I've always wanted to be this thing that God uses to be able to do God's work, right? And like, you have to be able to open yourself up to the love of God and be able to do that. And ever since I was young, my mom's always been very religious as well. And they've always put paper and pen in front of my hands and made me like, draw and stuff. And I guess I got really good at it because I felt like I could draw anything, but I also felt like this wasn't me. Like this was something else. Like I was like literally like letting the hand of the universe like recreate what my eyes were seeing. And I could just, with very delicate detail, just move my hand in ways that can do that. So when I'm talking about spirituality with people and I'm able to coach people, I show them this picture just to let them know that I felt very proud of this, being able to do this, not feeling like this was something that was my gift or my power, but something that I was looking for from someone else. I took someone else's photo and I just redrew it like this, like this, like that. So I looked it up and then I looked it back and I basically just recreated it as best I could. And it's very beautiful because I did it as a gift for the people I worked with, and it was all of us as superheroes. It's a team of us, and that's what we are. We're just a team of superheroes, just all trying to help each other out. So when you called me the voice of God, dude, that's like a really big compliment for me. And like, I have like a very tough time taking that because I like to think I'm a nice guy, and that just makes me feel really, really loved. So I really appreciate that. I kind of just like say, hey, yeah, but look at this. Like, let me be proud of this because this is where I've been okay to say that I've been able to use God's work. But at the same time, I do have to take credit to think that this is the path I'm going to go down. So thanks, man. I'm not sure if you have it or if you see it. Did you find it?
Okay, so I'm looking at
It's a picture of LCT Loyalty Care. It says the thing, and then it's got like on the very top row, it's got like Captain Kirk and like Hitman and James Bond.
Yeah, I got it up here.
Sideways. It's the one like this, like it's got like
it's a black and white pencil drawing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love showing this. I can't believe you guys are gonna see this. This is really cool.
All right. Let's see.
You can do this.
So the screen sharing,
Okay, I think I'm gonna try to find it here. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, yeah, if you can pop it on your machine, that'd be much easier.
So let's talk about for a quick second here. Maybe if I get this on.
Perfect.
All right, let's see. Can you see my little Iron Man there?
Yeah.
Okay, wait a second. This isn't gonna work. Hold on. Ding, ding, ding. Ding. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just download the picture real quick. But can I ask you there, Jimmy, what about what we were talking about put you most, like, raised the biggest question there for you?
I guess when it comes to the master numbers, I mean, there's the two parts. There's the master number itself, but then within that master number is the single digit that composes it. And it's just a lesson that, it's taken me a long time to learn. But for every action, there's a reaction. For every positive, there is a negative. And you can either live in the positive or you can live in the negative. And I've definitely lived in both. So I guess it's more just a takeaway that, you're never as high as you'll always be high, and whenever you're low, you'll never be as low as you'll always be. You'll always have to have that striving for that balance between the two, especially double so when you're a master number.
Yeah, I really do believe that when you hit it on the head there. And I mean, that's why it's a little bit hard to talk about, because who knows if people are ready for that? I mean, you don't know if it's up to you or not, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think that if you're called, you probably should answer it. If you feel like you don't want to answer it, I don't think you should answer it. I really believe that you should do what you feel like you want to do. And with that, it's 11:55. So let's call it, and let's say that it is what it is. And I think I'm sharing my screen now if you can see it.
Yep, can see it.
But, yeah, I drew this.
Yeah.
This was me. And this was for all the people I worked with. And this was their Christmas gift.
Wow. Very detailed. Look at that.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, you know what? I think that we're all in this together. And I would think we all have our own special gift and our own sort of power that we have to share with the world. And look, there's even Batman. I am Batman. Whatever, bub. Yeah, who you call? And then this guy, who you calling, bub? Get it? Wolverine versus Duke Nukem.
Nice. There it is. Wow. Yeah, it's cool. It's a type of picture that you can just kind of keep on looking at, and every time you look at it, you see something different. You didn't see before. It's very cool.
Have a little Iron Man and his brother War Machine.
Yep.
You like that? Yeah. A little Spawn action. Yeah. A little Chun-Li. Zangief.
Wow. The all-stars here.
How about a little James Bond? You like a James Bond?
Where's the James Bond?
Right at the top.
There it is. Okay. Yep. There he is.
Yeah, man, this was fun. This was a good time.
Awesome, man. Well, appreciate you being here. Appreciate your time, Bobby.
Love you, bro.
All right.
Let's do this.
All right.
Up the chair.
Take care.
So yeah, guys. Let's what are we gonna do? Are we gonna do this again? We're gonna do this again, right? I think we're gonna have to.
Yeah, we'll definitely do this again. I think next time we get together, we'll talk about name numerology. What do you think about that?
That's gonna be a really big, loaded one. I'm gonna see how we're gonna dive into that, because that's a lot. That's a really huge one. Just to give you a quick little teaser at the end, they usually give you like the 3 minutes before the next one, right? So just to give you a little bit of background, the name, as we said last time, this is this is the part where instead of you just being on like you have a path, now you have a cart. Now you've got a vehicle that you're going down. So you're born with one, you get to use it, you get to change it, you get to call yourself something else, you get to get married, you get to take new names. So there are cool new things that you can do when you get names. And I mean, it's very, very critical. As someone was posting the other day, what should I change my name to? Or like, what do you have advice for someone who wants to change their name? I'm like, do not do it without consulting a professional. Don't do it. It's disastrous. It can be the thing that ruins you and the thing that you need. So if you need it, I'd love to help you. We're going to dive into it next. What we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to count. Okay, so you're going to count, and you're going to count and count. You're going to have an algorithm, and with that, you'll be able to find out any equation in the world. So, love you, bro.
Wow.
I can't wait till we do this next time. Maybe next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. See you.